What's going on, Momentum Church?
Hey,
My
y'all.
name is Howdy, folks. My name is Stephen Mendez. I'm the now Gen pastor at Momentum Church.
And I'm Tyler McNeely, the creative director here at Momentum Church.
And this is the current podcast where we go over current events and Pastor Tim, this week, Pastor Stephanie's
Pastor Stephanie, yeah.
current message.
Yeah.
That's right.
So good.
So good.
Man, this podcast is officially sponsored by Tic Tac.
Yep, we need endorsements.
So, 100 layers of goodness with every bite.
And liquid death.
They have not, so go ahead and turn that around because they're not getting free promotion on this show. But Tic Tacs, on the other hand, a refreshing bite and refreshing grace.
Yes.
Words of grace refreshes your space.
The greatest flavor I would like to
100%.
have. Orange
Absolutely.
Tic Tacs are
Is
they're
there
S-tier.
any other flavor, really?
They're S tier. They're so good.
Yeah, it's very
They're so
true.
good. So
well,
good.
welcome, everybody.
I would like to apologize for my attire. I would
Absolutely
like to
nobody.
go on record. It's been a rough morning.
Could you have worn less clothes?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you
Interesting.
like to see?
No.
Okay.
No one would.
There's a stark contrast. You're in a hoodie and pants.
I know. Yeah, this is weird. But
Poor time management and late nights led me to
buddy.
not being able to shower. So here
you've done enough.
from the gym, I'm here. But I'm
You've
here.
done enough. But you're here.
I'm here.
And the win is that you just went to the gym.
True.
Who cares that you really didn't lift anything?
That's not
Like the win is that you just walked in the door and just showed up.
I walked in
because
and I
that's
said,
the
"I'm
most
here."
important thing is that you just show up.
Well,
right?
I had to take
just show
a
up.
single social media picture so everyone knew I showed up, and then I left.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to take one
That's
mirror
very
picture,
true.
you post it,
Yeah.
hashtag
Grind.
gym life, fit
Something
fam,
grind.
Insta fit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
On the grind is another one.
it's not a choice, it's a lifestyle.
Hustle.
Flow.
Hustle flow. Yep,
Yep.
that's definitely important.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, it's good, man.
obviously.
The boats.
Who's going to carry the boats?
You know, no one's coming.
No one's coming.
So the boats are burned.
It's good.
You want
But
to talk
anyway.
about UFC? We can kick it off there.
That was an
300?
amazing card.
It was
so good.
bonkers, and you missed a lot.
I missed the undercard.
You missed, yeah.
I missed the whole undercard.
Which were phenomenal too.
Yeah.
Some things are noteworthy. Kayla Harrison debuted in the UFC,
Yep.
and she's big in PFL.
Yep.
So she made her UFC debut against Holly Holm. I think choked her out in the second round. So really, really strong
Yeah.
showing, and we'll see what happens there.
Yep.
Other noteworthy,
Who was the Penn State wrestler?
Bo Nickel.
But I really liked him.
Yeah, he opened up the main card.
Yeah.
which is what you saw.
And I liked
Yeah.
him for two reasons. One, he's only had now 8 fights, amateur and pro combined.
Correct. Total fights,
2 amateur
yes.
and 6 pro, and he's
Yeah.
8-0. Number 2,
Yes.
it's easy for his commentary post-fight to be like, wow, what a privileged butt. But then you forget the pedigree and the stage that he's already been on.
Correct,
He's
yeah.
a national champion, world champion,
Yep.
3-time NCAA gold medalist,
Yes.
1-time silver medalist.
Yes.
He's been on the world stage.
Correct.
It would be like an Olympic wrestler now stepping into the realm of MMA. There's just a different...
Correct.
Like, I've been here before.
I will say the criticism the UFC gets a lot. Well, no, that's not true. The criticism boxing gets a lot is padding records.
Yeah.
Is you get these guys that fight
Nobodies.
guys with 10 wins and 90
Yep.
losses. This is probably the closest to that the UFC has gotten.
Sure.
The way that they have strapped a rocket to Bo and given him fights that are favorable
Yep.
against opponents with not the best records. So you really don't know until you get to the top of the divisions and start fighting, the top 10 ranked
Yeah,
guys.
when you
to
get the
really
top 10
know.
guys in there.
He's still fighting unranked guys, which again, it says 8 fights, so who am I to be critical of that?
And there's only a 6th pro fight.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when you're on the main card of UFC 300,
Yes.
like, man, why don't you fight somebody that,
Yeah.
his opponent was probably the only one of the night, or I've done the research on
That
those.
was unranked.
That was probably unranked, or, so that's something to be said for
Sure.
sure. Other notable fights, of course, was, we'll start with the main event, which was,
I blinked. I missed it. What happened?
Alex
Pereira.
knocking out Jamal Hill
Yeah.
in like the first round, which was just so nasty.
After shrugging
gets-
off the ref.
He gets kicked in the,
It was either kicked or... Yeah, I think it might have been
in the
kicked, but
cup.
low.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
low. Well, it was low enough to where Herb saw it
And went to
and
step
then
in.
immediately stepped in because
Yeah.
it was one of those things where he saw it.
Yes.
He's right there.
It was obvious.
It wasn't like, did that hit? I missed
Right.
it. He clearly saw it, stepped in to stop the fight,
Yep.
Pereira literally waves him off.
Thank you.
Doesn't break eye contact.
Yeah, the whole
with
time
Jamal.
he's looking at him. No, thank you.
It is the most wildest thing ever.
Yep.
Just nope, I got this. And then proceeds to murder him.
The next combo he threw.
It was,
Boom.
nasty
Out.
left hook.
Yep.
And down goes Jamal Hill. It was rough.
Yep.
And I like Jamal Hill, so I didn't love that for him.
And
but
just coming off an injury too, because Jamal Hill was
He
kind of a
did.
comeback story. Tore his
Yes.
ACL.
Yep.
Took time to come back.
which was a major question. Did he come back too soon? Because
Right.
he came back in 10 months.
Correct.
Which, they anticipated 12 months.
Yep.
So the question is, did he rush to make 300? Is definitely a narrative.
Now,
Who
I
knows?
don't know if an ACL affects your ability to take a punch to the face. So it probably...
I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
I mean, you talk about for, you've
It
torn
was
your
a
AC
minute into the
have
fight.
you
I don't
torn your-
think...
You've torn your
I've torn all my ACLs.
So then,
Yeah.
you have to base, right?
I have to what?
Base. Like when you go to punch someone, you've got to make sure your
Yes.
feet are strong and planted.
Strong base, 100%.
Yes.
Now,
At least when I punch people, I make sure my base is strong.
if the fight went
So,
the distance
yeah.
and fatigue came in, I think there's an argument for did he come back too soon?
Yeah.
But the first minute of the fight,
That's probably true.
I don't think any of that played
Yeah.
a factor. I think he just got punched in the face really
Yeah.
hard by a big dude.
And
Did you see
then-
the weight difference?
No.
So I read an article about Pereira's weigh-in, 205,
Yeah.
and his fight night weight,
What was this fight?
234.
Yeah, that makes sense. So here's what's wild.
29 pounds.
Okay, you hear something crazier than
Yeah.
that? So his debut fought in the middleweight division, which
185?
was 185.
Yeah, it's wild.
So he would cut to 185.
Yeah.
Imagine that cut.
Yeah.
You're probably walking around at 2, and even at 230, he's so lean. And
Yeah,
looks
he
super
wasn't.
thin.
He didn't
He's just
look
tall and
soft.
solid.
He's 6'4". 6'4", 235 is a
Solid, yeah.
Yeah.
But to cut down to 185 is pretty
yeah.
astounding.
Even
And
205 to 234, and what is there like 4 days between weigh-in and fight?
they know like a day and a half.
So
They
that's
weigh in
crazy.
Friday morning
That's
for a
crazy.
Saturday night
Yeah.
fight. So
It's nuts.
about a day and a half.
Yeah,
So pretty crazy.
that is a death cut to make weigh-in.
Yeah. And then and then also let's talk through probably the biggest
the
fight,
best
of, the
fight
night.
of the night. for
Max
sure.
Holloway
Yeah.
knocking out Justin Gaethje.
with 2 seconds left in the 5th round.
Was so crazy.
So crazy.
If you watched it live, we watched it live
Yep.
and we all started screaming and going nuts because
yeah.
it was just bonkers. But going into the fight, you had, Justin Gaethje was ranked number 1, I believe.
Yes.
In that division and was waiting on a title fight, with Islam Makhachev, who
Yep. He had no reason to take the fight against
notoriously
Holloway.
doesn't fight a lot. Makhachev.
He had
He's
no
fought
reason.
twice in the past 2 years, I think.
Gaethje could have gotten nothing from beating Holloway
Correct.
and risked a lot
Correct.
by
Yeah.
losing to him. But he took
And
it anyway.
He took it anyway, to his credit.
Yep.
And even going into it, Max was a big dog,
Yep.
underdog.
Yep.
And but just completely showed out.
Yep.
And going into the last round, the story was best case scenario, you could have said that Max was going into the 5th round 3-1.
Way ahead on points. Yep.
But some people could even make an argument that it was 4-0
Yep.
to Max.
Yep.
Even with that, Max, it would have been very easy for Max to dance around that last round.
Yeah,
and
just run around, kill
and
time.
just not get hit.
Yep.
But instead, he time after time engages him, and then the last 10 seconds
Yeah.
was just. Here's what's so crazy about that. Justin's punching power too. For Max to give him that chance, because that's what it really was.
It would have
was
taken
Max
one hit.
giving him this chance to win, even though you
Yep.
lost for.
It would have taken
90%.
one solid connection from Gaethje.
Correct.
Because we know he has it.
Correct. Yeah.
Lights out.
Yep.
Game over.
Yep, and that punch could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
And then Max could have literally thrown away, 4.5 rounds. And
Yep.
But let's talk about the
Well, there's 2 things. Number 1, Max has now been knocked down. That had never
Yes,
happened before
that's
this
true.
fight.
Yep.
Number 2, I wish I could have seen the fight without Gaethje losing his ability to breathe in the first round.
Yeah, the first round spin kick from Holloway to
Breaking his nose. Yeah.
Which here's how prepared. To Max's credit, but also his team's credit, he was so prepared that he knew that every time that Gaethje throws, he ducks.
Yep.
And so knowing that, okay, if he's going to walk into an exchange, he's going to duck his head.
Right.
And to be able to throw that low, spin kick, and the way it connected that first round,
Shattered his nose.
you just watch Gaethje kind of bumble off.
Yeah.
They show the replay and you realize that it was like a direct, like just
Right to the
scraping
nose,
heel
yep.
to the nose. It was gnarly.
Yep.
And then to go 4 rounds with
Yeah.
your nose just bleeding into your mouth.
And if you've never broken your nose, let me enlighten you.
Yes.
You can't breathe well when there's liquid
yeah.
pouring out of your
As
nose.
it turns out.
You're choking.
Yes.
And it affects your eyesight.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
Yep.
So for him to even go the next 4 rounds is a testament to Gaethje as a fighter.
Yeah.
Because yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. And then from a fight perspective, if you can't breathe out of your nose, what are you breathing out of? Your mouth.
Yep.
And now you can't clench your jaw.
Yeah.
And there's a dude actively trying to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into that.
It was, I mean, couldn't have had a better game plan, and absolutely just
Great fight, though.
To his credit. Here's,
Great
you know,
fight.
did you hear about how much he won? Bonuses?
No.
Holloway won $600,000 in bonuses.
Good for
he
him.
He won performance of the night and then fight of the night.
Nice.
So to walk away, which we you know.
And he had a $2 million on that card already. So
Yeah.
he walked away probably closer to $3 million. Got to pay out his team hefty and still make some
It's a good day.
Yeah, that's a
It's
good day.
for Max Holloway.
Good for him.
Blessed life. So, yep, stay blessed.
Best
folks.
life ever.
But that was UFC 300.
That's it, man.
There's some other notes, but those are the big,
Yeah, there's
big
a lot
talking
more there.
points, and it was
Yep.
good.
Someone got choked unconscious and didn't lose, which is interesting. Or still lost, but didn't lose in that moment.
I can't pronounce their names off the top of my head, so
Zhang and
Zhang
Yan.
Weili and Yan
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
That was-
yeah,
But yeah, it's enough.
that was
It's enough. Moving
crazy.
on.
Yeah.
Yep. I
Good
ran.
times.
I ran so far away.
What happened? And I ran. Yeah, that was wild.
Hey, man.
But then the worst part was, I say the worst part. The weirdest part was the statement he put out. Didn't he
Yeah.
put out a statement saying we're done? This was our attack. Like this was our business is done here.
Whereas I'm looking at that going, no.
That's a weird sentence.
You're just trying to get me to drop my defenses, you sneaky man.
Put the guns down, folks.
Sneaky.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
super weird. What do you think of all that? You're more enlightened than I am.
I have thoughts.
Oh, no, okay.
I have thoughts.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay. I also have thoughts.
Yeah. I have thoughts.
What about stuck through John? John told us earlier that he ended up update from last podcast. Welcome to Jurassic. Welcome to Jurassic Park. So yeah, John watched Jurassic Park. Hey, you want to be the John puppet again?
Yeah.
This is fun. I am John. Hello, John. Hello, John. Hello, John. Hello, John. So last week, if you missed last week's episode, we talked about a list. What's that? Go back and watch it.
I assume
like,
the
share,
puppet
and
too
subscribe.
early. Sorry.
Like, share,
I
and
became the
subscribe.
puppet too early.
No, this
Shake
is
it.
good.
All right. Yeah. Like,
Like,
share,
and subscribe.
Watch
Leave
the
us
last
a review.
episode. Yep.
Which, by the way, we're batting 1,000 on reviews for Spotify. It's not a big deal.
2 out of 2.
And they both rated us 5 stars.
5 stars.
So
We're
Was that-
10
was that
stars.
you and
We're
me?
10 stars. I have
1,
not.
2.
I haven't even
Okay.
reviewed our own show.
yeah, me neither. That's so weird.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, we went through a list last week of movies that Mel has never watched.
Correct.
Steve's wife Mel.
It's very sad.
Has never watched, and some of them were surprising. Most of them were like, meh. That's okay.
To you, they were
Yeah,
meh.
like the Green Mile. Okay, might as well be the Lame Mile.
That is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Okay. Wayne's World might as well be Lame's World.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
That was a good one.
There's probably others, but there's some classics. Independence Day she's never seen.
Jurassic Park, man.
Jurassic
Men in Black.
Park. Men in Black.
Signs.
The first one. Signs. Gosh.
Yeah.
So, but John had also let us know that John's never seen Jurassic Park. But John, you said you went back and watched Jurassic Park. So
Yeah.
the people need to know.
All right.
What'd you think?
Give me a review, John.
Yeah.
That was all right.
It was all right.
That was all right. I don't know what I'm talking about. My name's John.
He's inferring some things there. What do you mean it was all right?
You had to watch it through the lens of it being released in 1994.
No. That movie stands up today.
Well, it's pre-CGI.
It is. It still
It is
stands
all
up today.
But that's more impressive to me, is that it's
Okay.
pre-CGI.
Yeah.
When you look at it and you're like, wow. How'd you like the score?
By good, it was a masterpiece.
The score, the sound
John
score.
Williams' score is flawless.
Yeah. He said it was fantastic, just so we're clear. What's your cup of tea?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What do you like?
What did you not like about
The
it?
color purple? Gone with the Wind? You more of like an old-timey
hang on,
classics guy?
give me some movies in your top 5. You don't have to rank them perfectly.
Yeah, just give
if
us
you were
a smattering of John movies.
yeah,
He's giving up his
a
top
bird
5.
shot of
Yeah.
John movies.
Buckshot, baby.
Also Birdshot.
Yeah, Birdshot's like 100, thousands, millions of BBs.
Okay. So
10 million
Buckshot is like
BBs.
5 BBs?
Probably like 20.
Like 20 BBs?
They're bigger BB.
20 bebes. Oh, the bebes.
If you want to kill someone, you use buckshot.
What's that?
What? What was what was the top 5?
Yeah, we're waiting on movies from Sean. Welcome to Jurassic.
Yeah. Action war movies.
So what is that? Give me some. Name a couple of your favorites.
Escape from L.A., Mad Max. Oh,
Act of Valor.
Saving
Okay.
Private Ryan. The Patriot. Hacksaw Ridge is a great movie. Hacksaw Ridge is a great movie.
Okay. That makes sense.
Ooh.
Okay.
We Were Soldiers. Probably my favorite war movie.
So genetically
Soldiers is
engineered
stellar.
dinosaurs are just not up there for you.
What if the genetically
Theme
engineered
park genetically
dinosaurs
engineered dinosaurs.
attacked the beachhead, and it had to be defended? Okay, cool. That's it. Jurassic Park.
So it just needs a
7.
war. It needs a war.
World
if it was
War.
set, if it was set in Vietnam, this would be perfect.
Needed more guns. Okay.
There's the rifle. The guy. He's hunting raptors in the forest.
Yeah.
Clever girl.
Clever girl.
Yeah. Good times. All right. Well,
Remember when I licked the raptor?
yes, I do remember that. That's a fun story.
That's a fun
We
story.
were at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure together, and
Velocicoaster.
the Velocicoaster. Which, by the way, if you've
Stellar.
our official review of Velocicoaster,
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It throws you forward. Remember that little like
Oh, yeah.
corkscrew thing?
Oh, yeah.
So you're going so fast, and then all of a sudden it just like does a spin.
Whee!
But the way you're going fast and it spins, it literally like pushes you forward.
Yeah.
And then like it catches. It's the coolest thing.
Yep.
But yeah, inside the line queue, which is in the business what we call the lines,
Cool.
the ride queues.
The ride queue. The queue.
It's good. It's really interactive. Pretty cool. There's a
Yeah.
giant statue though of like 4 raptors.
Yeah, they're like intertwined and their tails
intertwined.
are.
And one of the raptor's tails comes really close to the line queue.
If you're tall enough.
And if you're tall enough and you want it bad enough and your heart is pure, magical things can happen.
You
and
can
you
lick
can
it.
reach and lick. So I've got a video that I will share later.
good luck. It was good luck.
It was a good luck, yeah.
Unrelated, I got really sick and fell asleep at pizza that night. I don't know if you remember that.
No,
I got really, really sick, and when we all got pizza that night, I fell asleep at the end of the table. Like,
Oh, that's how COVID was born, folks.
probably not related.
Probably not related at all.
I was. That might have been the cure. Might have been the cure.
Oh, man. Anything else?
Yeah, let's talk about how to prime an engine before you crank a lawnmower, Tyler.
I legit, like, a push start for like,
No, this is not a push start.
what are you talking about?
So,
So earlier,
yes.
if people watch this, didn't watch the Steven Tyler in the morning,
Correct.
is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You referenced the lawnmower.
I did. Because I
had a
said
push start.
prime your heart now.
Yes. Pump your heart.
Prime your heart now.
Prime.
And I referenced the prime button on many, many lawn.
And I believed and still do
things.
that
It's a push to start.
it's a push to start.
which it's not.
Yes.
So, small rudimentary engines often do not stay pressurized, so the fuel does not stay in the lines and is not primed into the combustion chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to pull it or start it, there's nothing to start. So there's
Gotcha.
this little plastic bulb full of gas.
Yeah.
And you push it a few times and it forces fuel into the system, and then you can crank it.
Got
if
it.
not, it's too lean of a mixture and it won't start.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. No experience with that? You do have an electric car. So
You hear some.
Full-size sedan.
You hear a story. We were doing hurricane cleanup. This was in Panama City area
you couldn't start the
4
chainsaw?
years ago.
Is that the story?
Well, no. Do you know the story?
I
So it
don't
was an
either.
electric chainsaw. What I was told was this was like one of those hybrid chainsaws. So and when I say hybrid, I don't know what I heard.
Yeah,
but
unpack that for me.
Yeah, it was fully electric.
Okay.
Myself believed that I needed to put fuel in. So the only place I could put fuel in was
Where did you put the fuel?
was the lubricant, the chain lube. Because that's the thing, right? Chain lube.
Yeah, that's
So I loaded that with gasoline
Oh, bud.
and then closed the thing. And
Did it explode? I want to believe it exploded.
well, I mean, it did not explode, but I will tell you that there was sparks and fire, because what's happening while this metal is clinking is it's spitting open fuel at it.
And now there's friction because instead of lubricant,
Yes.
it's gasoline.
It's gasoline. So it became a flaming chainsaw for a second.
That's
and
good,
then
man.
the people at no, it was it Samaritan's Purse?
I don't remember. I wasn't here.
There was an organization we were helping,
Yeah.
and someone quickly walked over and helped
Took
me.
it from you and said, never, ever, ever touch a chainsaw again.
No, they were kinder than that.
Okay.
But it wasn't less informative
That's
than
good.
that.
That's good.
So yeah, so that's it.
That's funny.
And then also we learned about open engines and why you should never leave your car running at a gas pump.
Correct.
So if you're out there and you are the kind of person that
Leaves your car running.
you're just a dummy,
Yeah.
and you leave your car running while you get gas, explain to them why that's bad. Because what you're doing is you are opening a closed system.
Correct. I would also like to highlight, just maybe, I don't know if people understand this.
Yeah.
What part of gasoline lights on fire?
It's the oxygen part.
It's the part that's atomized and risen above. It's like the fumes, right?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
The oxygen
So when you
part.
leave the gas tank open, it's not the oxygen part, it's the
It
gas.
is. It's the air part.
It's the atomized fuel in the air.
And just because you use bigger words doesn't
But
mean
when
you're
you leave
more
a gas
right.
tank open, what is
Yeah.
coming out of that open port is the flammable part of the
Is
gasoline.
the air part.
The atomized
The
fuel.
oxygen part.
It's the reason we need fuel injectors, because it atomizes the fuel.
Exactly, folks.
Atomizes the fuel.
So anyway, so you learned a good lesson that day.
Diesel's a little different. It's a little different.
So Steve,
Yeah.
you learned a great lesson that day. You learned never to do that.
That was me
And,
who didn't know that.
And I
For
just
sure.
gently corrected you, and it wasn't a big deal. But
Yep.
we've, not talked about it since.
Yep.
So
But that does lead me to cinematic motifs that bother me.
okay, what does that mean?
People lighting gasoline with things that could never light gasoline, like a cigarette, not hot enough, could not light gasoline.
So like the scene in
Yeah, where they're like,
Hacksaw Ridge where he walks away, flicks a cigarette. That scene in the classic movie Hacksaw Ridge.
that didn't happen in Hacksaw Ridge, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
What else?
But like every
Cinematically.
action movie when they like smoke a cigarette and they're like, Das Vidanya. They flick it and it blows. That's not. It would
What
just
did
go,
they say?
"Psst." It's goodbye in Russian. Das Vidanya.
So you do know Russian.
Cut that. Cut that.
Interesting.
Or when anything ignites jet fuel in a
Yeah.
movie, because that's not a thing.
It was interesting how fast you moved past that.
Look, man.
So, I mean, is this like a backup plan for you in case things go south?
Jet fuel. Yeah. You can't even light jet fuel with a lighter. It's impossible. Fire is not hot enough.
It's not, folks.
Yeah. So anyway.
What is hot enough, Steve?
Well, you'd have to add pressure. That's how you get it, because the pressure
Pressurized cooker, rice
differential,
cookers.
pressure differential, and you have to atomize it heavily.
Well, this has been fun. That's the podcast, folks. Oh, I corrected. I had my first Instagram theology correction.
Oh yeah?
Not to me. I corrected someone else.
Tell me.
So, well, and it was in love, but
Tell me. The heart is what you should trust above all things.
yeah.
Is that-
this person or this group, I don't know what it is, but anyways, they it was and it's good to unpack too here because the reel said something like God doesn't want your productivity, he just wants your intimacy. Which
Ooh.
on the surface of that you go, that
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
good.
It
There's
sounds
a really
great, but
long
that's
post
not-
after, and it was like all about how I am the
Yeah.
vine. Basically, the Pharisees, criticized because not working enough or whatever, and it was just this. Again, on the surface, it sounds good. On the surface, this concept of, God doesn't need your productivity, he just wants your intimacy.
Yep.
That's true, but also you can't get past. And this is what I just said. I was super gentle.
Yeah.
I just said this is wildly unbiblical.
Yes.
When you look at, there's countless stories in the Old and New Testament where God calls people to work,
Oh yeah.
and it's you. And so again, the argument is not that
It's not works-based faith.
correct, but in the argument is not that intimacy is bad or God doesn't
Correct.
want that. He does, but it's also like no, God calls us to work.
Correct.
God calls
Yeah.
us to do things.
Yeah.
So I just said, how do you? The question I had was, how do you come to that conclusion with the countless stories
Yep.
in the Old and New Testament where God calls people
Yes.
to work and to work hard.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you look at Proverbs, and Proverbs is riddled with the lazy bones, and man, if you sleep today, work tomorrow, then you may go hungry today.
The fine line between biblical rest and sloth.
Yes, 100%. And so that's where people have to be super careful. And this is a good just warning, I think, for us. Be careful of TikTok theology.
Oh yeah.
Be careful of
I'm gonna tell you my favorite repeated TikTok theology that I see.
You bring everything back to the Word of God, and you don't. People can say whatever they want. They can type whatever they want into a copy of an Instagram or, a reel, but bring it back to the Word of God. What does the Word of God say? Because that should be your authority.
Oh yeah.
The Word of God should be. If you're a follower of Jesus, you cannot love Him but hate His Word.
That's right.
You cannot, I think hold Jesus to a high place in your heart, but then discredit or disillusion His word.
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting conversation.
It's good, man.
They've not responded. I don't anticipate them to, but you just gotta put truth out there.
You want to hear? This is my favorite, and I see it on Facebook, Instagram, you name it. I've seen this, and I'm gonna say, and you've been like, "Yep, seen that."
Yeah.
The sentiment, and it's said a couple different ways. God will never give you more than you can handle. Or God gives his biggest battles to his strongest warriors.
Strongest soldiers.
I could show you 50 stories in the Bible where he gave people more than they could handle to prove that they needed to rely on him and that they couldn't do it.
100%.
God absolutely gives you more than you can handle frequently so that you get to a place where you're like, God, I can't do this.
But he doesn't give you more than you can handle with him.
Yes. 100%.
And that's the,
that's the anecdote that's missing.
This. Yeah.
Yeah.
So... yeah, and there's a lot of things like that where that's not in the Bible.
That's not it.
That even that phrase.
Yeah.
I bet if you polled people, you'd probably get a surprising amount of people that would say that. Yeah,
God
that's
gives
in the Bible.
His biggest battles to his strongest warriors is somewhere in the Bible.
It's in Leviticus or something, but no, it's not. But
There's
a lot of stuff out there. Song of Psalms, Song of Songs. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. You have to be super careful with what you intake and discern and bring. Again, if you bring everything back to the Word of God, you'll be okay. But
I saw, charisma can take someone so far.
Yeah, it's very true.
And there's a very charismatic speaker. 70% of his videos, I'm like, yes, I'm there for it. I saw one the other day. I had to turn it off, and I was like, this is wildly not it. And he was talking about how people are often like, people compare their walks with David. You're just a person with no purpose, and then God calls you, and you're like, well, with you, God, I could do it, and you take down the giant.
Yeah.
He's like, no, y'all are missing it. David is Jesus.
Yeah.
Goliath's the devil. You'll never be David. Jesus is the greater David. And he just goes on this rant about that. And I'm like, but did you miss the rest of David's life? Where it is an entire symbol for our human condition and how we're imperfect and how we're broken and how we're...
Yeah.
David is not Jesus. No, David is what happens when you're a person who can't, and then God says, yes, you can, and he equips you.
Yeah.
And then you fail.
Yeah.
And you turn back to God, and then you fail, and you turn back to God. But to stand on this, you don't ever call yourself David. You can never be David. I was like, man, I don't subscribe to that at all. And I think that's your opinion, and that's cool, but you're selling it like it's a fact.
Yeah.
And I don't love that.
Do you think that, because I've heard that before, and is it in the context of just the story of David and Goliath?
If it was, he did not sell it that way.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Because in my mind, when I hear that story, I do subscribe to in the context of the story of David and Goliath. We're not David.
Yeah.
We're Saul. We're the ones who are on the sidelines going, I can't do this. God, Jesus, take this from me.
Or a soldier clapping. Well, that's one of the things he said. We're more than likely, we're one of the soldiers clapping when Goliath falls. And I was like, no, that I get. Because so many of us are on the sidelines being like, well, I didn't, but...
yeah.
But to say you can never be David did not sit well with me. Because I feel like so much of my life is like, well, I failed. I did something wrong. But then I relied on God.
Yeah.
David knocked up one of his soldiers' wives and then got him murdered.
Yeah.
And then...
that's a rough story.
But you know what I mean?
100%.
David...
yeah.
Rough. A lot of rough spots.
Yeah.
Man after God's own heart. Love that. Because he never stopped relying on him. But
that's right.
Yeah.
Just the humanity in David's story, for sure. Even through everything, is after... that's still one of my favorite jokes. Is it Uriah?
Yeah. Uriah's the husband.
The husband?
Yeah.
Where he gets to heaven and God's like, there goes David,
God.
a man after my own heart. He was
really?
like, really, God?
Really, God?
You know, is he? Is he? You know?
Yep.
I didn't have enough time to be a man after your own heart, God, because, you know, I died.
By doing all the right things.
We don't know.
Per the story, Uriah was a crazy, upstanding person. Per the story. Without any other outside influence. Like, wouldn't even sleep with his wife because his men were still at war.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they couldn't have the same luxuries. He was like, I can't do that. My men are at war.
Seems like a good person.
Seems like a pretty good dude.
Yeah. And we don't know otherwise. I'm not implying that he was not a good dude. Just implying we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know the facts, folks.
The facts, folks.
But
Howdy,
yeah,
folks.
That was interesting for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't love engaging and stuff like that.
Me neither.
But I think that every once in a while, you've got to just and bring it back to the Word of God.
Yep.
Again.
Yep.
So, but yeah, man, Pastor Stephanie.
Yeah.
Crushing the message this week.
I got to watch it this morning because I was teaching middle school.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was teaching middle school.
Yep.
Once a quarter, I get to get in with the middle schoolers and get hands-on, which is super fun. It happened to be this Sunday.
Yep.
So I missed it at church, and then I worked all yesterday. So I listened to it at the gym today. I put it on, listened to it while I was working out.
Well, this is a good segue to our first ad.
Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs. This message is brought to you by Tic Tacs.
Preferably the orange ones.
Always the orange one because there is no other flavor.
That's right.
Than orange, folks.
That's right.
But yeah, so great message.
Great
Pretty
message.
incredible series so far. Marriage matters, and boy, does it matter.
Yep.
Let me ask you this: she talked about in a message the words of affirmation.
Yes.
No, excuse me.
Love language.
Love language.
Yeah. You want to know mine?
What is your love language?
So my number one is physical touch.
Don't wink at me.
My number two is quality time.
Don't ever wink at me again.
Quality time.
Yeah.
Acts of service, words of affirmation, gifts.
Interesting. Yeah, gifts is on the bottom of my list also.
Dead last. And boy, do I stink at receiving and giving gifts.
Yep.
Therese is our young adult leader. Those of you who don't know, maybe you watch this, you're not a part of the church. Therese is a gift person.
Yeah.
And she gave me and Adam Simmons just like a token Christmas gift. It was like a bar of really nice soap and this like bracelet with a cross on it.
Yeah.
And she gave it to us.
Do you think there was alternative motives in the gift?
Because I stink.
Well.
I smell.
And you need Jesus.
And I need Jesus.
It was like, hey, here's a cross.
So here's the...
I don't want to assume that even though you're a pastor, you have a relationship with Jesus.
Once I opened the gift, I saw how much thought went into it.
Yeah.
But the story starts with she gave it to me and I was like, oh, thanks, and put it on my desk. And she like was waiting for me to open it right away.
And have that experience and yeah.
But it was on a Wednesday night and she showed up and was like, here. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I was like, I'll get to that at the end of the night when I'm done. And halfway through the night, she was like, did you open it yet? And I was like, no, I didn't.
I bet gifts are high on her list.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was like the bracelet was made veterans... Yeah, proceeds went to like helping veterans, and it had like certain magnets in it that were supposed to help with like stress and anxiety, and like there was a lot of thought that went into it. And it's an amazing gift, and I actually used the soap a lot. It's really awesome soap. I do
fantastic.
Like it.
What kind of soap is it?
It has like, do you know Dr. Squatch?
I do know Dr.
So
Squatch,
similar vein, but
Great
a different
stuff.
company, and I think this one went towards like first responder dogs and like working dogs or something. Like there was a benefit to this one too.
The soap was made of dogs?
It was made of dogs. No, it benefited dogs. But it's like shea butter and bay rum and just all like Squatch, like a natural bar soap.
I do love a good Squatch soap.
And I like it, man. But I missed it because she gave it to me in like anticipation for me to see the thought that went into it.
Yep.
And to me, I was like, oh, gift. And opened it hours later. And she said that exact word. She looked at me and she was like, gifts aren't high on your love languages, are they? I was like, it was dead last. She was like, noted. Now, because
you're never going to get a gift again. Yeah. Here is... So number one for you is what? You said...
physical touch.
Physical touch. And then...
Quality time.
Quality time.
Acts of service.
Acts of service.
Words of affirmation. Gifts.
Interesting.
What about
Do
you?
you think that... So words of affirmation being so low...
Yeah.
Was that because like growing up, you had a ton of them? Were your parents really good about that kind of
stuff? They
stuff?
were really good about that.
Yeah.
They really were. My mom and my dad were like the always... Even when you were like third string on the JV team... and weren't going to play, they were always in the stands. They're just those people.
Yeah.
They're always there. They showed up for everything. Super positive.
Yeah.
So maybe
that's why.
Maybe I never wanted for it.
Yeah. And so that's
like,
why.
Yeah.
What's interesting for me is the concept, what helped with me with understanding words of affirmation, or love language. As you can tell, words are my number one. Words of affirmation my number 1, and then physical touch number 2, quality time 3, acts of service 4. I would say it's probably actually reverse. The bottom of the list is gifts and probably quality time.
Yeah.
Yep. But what helped me with that is especially in like the regards of spouse and marriage and things like that, was understanding the concept of that you like what means a lot to you to receive is your default for what you give.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And so like for me, because words is so high, words are so easy for me to give, and I can write a letter that'll, if you're into that stuff,
right,
can make you, cry. For the kind of stuff those people like, for the people that like that kind of stuff,
sure,
it's the kind of stuff those people like.
Yeah.
So words are important.
And I want to be clear.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't appreciate a gift.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate a heartfelt letter. It's just if it never happened, I wouldn't think twice about it. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Like if I receive a letter from...
It's not that it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah. If I get a letter from Pastor Tim or from you, because we do that here, it's part of our culture, we write thank you letters.
Yep.
Like I read it and I'm like, man, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
But if the letter never came, I wouldn't be like...
You wouldn't be long for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like I get a gift, I'm like, oh, I appreciate this and I understand that you thought about this and you thought of me.
It just, you don't value it as, as high as other people would. So it's important to know, because it would be, for example, Deidre, my wife, her love language, words of affirmation are not super high. Mm-hmm. But for me telling her, you're amazing, man, you did so, it just, and I would always be kind of frustrated. Why, like, man, I'm going out of my way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I started doing things like washing the dishes, like as part of the thing that I do.
Yep.
Keep the sink, clear. Those kinds of things. And I realized, this is going much, much further. And gifts. Yeah. So this is where she is so good at giving gifts. Like, she's so thoughtful, so detailed. It's those kind of things that you get that just like you open it up and you immediately go to exactly when and where this was important in the relationship, and you go, gosh, like so years ago you thought this down, wrote this down. So she's incredible at that, and I'm just not. And so I don't think I'm not good at it. It's not a value for me. Again, when people give me gifts, it doesn't mean like I don't love them or appreciative, but I'd much rather get a card. Yeah. Admiring my accomplishments than.
So Mel and I, physical touch is our top. Mm-hmm. So that's great. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. But then our next is off.
Mm-hmm.
Hers is acts of service and mine is quality time.
Awesome.
And it's funny you said dishes because that was one of our big disconnects.
Yeah.
After dinner, I'd be like, leave the dishes. I want to spend time. I want to watch some TV. Kids went to bed. Like, this is our time. I just want to relax on the couch with my person.
Yeah.
I just want to be on the couch. Yep. And in the back, like she would do it, but in the back of her head, she's like, I really wish you were helping me clean the kitchen. Because I'm thinking about how that needs to get done and how you're not helping.
Yeah.
And that frustrates me. And it took having that conversation. Mm-hmm. She's like, just a couple nights a week, you did this before we did that. And then some nights we could do this. And then like that would help me.
Yeah.
And it was just a disconnect on love languages where I didn't value acts of service where she did. Yeah. And she didn't value quality time where I did.
Yep.
And we were just missing each other.
Yeah.
So, yep.
And dishwashers are amazing. And we're back, folks.
We're back.
So, communication. Pastor Stephanie just talking through
all about communication.
Just how...
With her funny story about poor communication up and down an airport trying to get her fanny pack back.
Yeah. It was really funny.
Super frustrating.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. But just how important communication is in relationship and in marriage, and, man, how really... I think for us, just realizing that, man, once we start communicating and having that regular line, it just, helps. And so we did this thing. It was just, I always get frustrated. Like, man, stuff would come up on the calendar and we'd miss it. And this was years into our marriage. And then finally we were like, you know what? It sounds really stupid.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a meeting every Friday or, whatever the day it was at the time. And it's changed over the years. But just having that time of, hey, we're going to talk about what's coming up in the next, 3 to 4 weeks and go through the calendar together. It's helped clear up so much. And
Mel, she's the organization of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really good at my calendar.
Yeah.
I'm really bad about the 6 kids and my wife family calendar.
Yep.
So our fridge is just a giant black calendar with like neon markers, and she keeps it super up to date. So every time I go to the fridge, there's this big neon lettered calendar where I can be like,
great, yeah.
All her.
That's awesome.
I have no input on that. I have no, you know what I mean? Because I have my calendar.
Yeah.
I have my regular calendar and my work calendar, and that's great.
Yeah.
But it's easy for me to lose track of 6 kids, sports,
Yeah.
doctors, like whatever. Fill in the blank. So
Fill in the blank.
she definitely holds that ladder for me because I'm bad. I'm bad at it. So.
Anything else for the message, man? So words of grace refreshes your space. So next time you're about to pop off on somebody,
that's right.
Pop a Tic Tac instead.
I love the I want one. Can I get one?
Feel how good this is. Found as like a rainmaker. Check this out.
It's good, man.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's good. Little Toto.
Rains down in Africa.
Yep.
I bless the rains down in Africa. Wasn't that awesome?
That was good.
Leave a comment, folks.
Howdy, folks.
Howdy, folks. Here are the lids.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sponsored by Tic Tac. So right now, you're probably frustrated with how long I did that bit.
Never.
So instead of saying something,
I got a Tic Tac.
pop a Tic Tac.
I'm not mad at all. There's one other thing about her message that I do want to bring up.
You got to put this right because sponsors are going to get mad.
One of the roughest questions to ask somebody.
Oh, wow. I love rough questions.
That she brought up.
Yeah.
What's it like to be on the other side of me?
You don't play that game?
No.
That's a fun game to play.
I hate that game.
Let's end the podcast with that game. Forget Wavelength.
I'm only saying words of affirmation to you.
Why?
I have nothing bad to say about you, Tyler. I enjoy you.
Probably not true.
As a human.
What's your 10%? If you were like, what's the 10%? You just,
I think you're just delightful.
okay, no. What is it? Washington.
He chopped down a cherry tree.
He did. His
teeth were made of wool.
His farewell address. He says, what did he say? He said,
I am a 6'2" redhead who decided to attack on Christmas Day across the Delaware River. Nobody saw it coming.
Traveled an icy river. Killed them in their sleep.
6'2"
on Christmas Day.
Y'all don't know. He was a 6'2" redhead.
Yeah.
He's a terrifying human.
So
revolutionary.
I collect Funko Pops.
You do.
I say collect. It's
and
not
I
like
steal your Funko Pops.
You do.
Yeah, it's fun.
The ones I have are. It's not like I collect and I know this one's worth a lot of money.
You collect ones that mean something.
That means something to me in my childhood, and I love American history. So I've got one that's it's Washington crossing the Delaware, because it just reminds me of that story and how just bonkers that is an icy river, middle of Christmas, to kill the British in their sleep.
Shane Gillis does a great stand-up comedy bit on that.
Yeah, we can't, but
it's very funny. Yeah, very very funny.
It is. But yeah, he's pretty. Anyways, so the reason that came up, Washington's farewell address. He says, "I am, well." He's like, what does he say? I am well enough aware of my defects to know that I committed many error.
Yeah.
He says, but basically, like, I've never committed an intentional error. He says, but I'm well enough aware of my defects to know that I've committed many error.
Yep.
So just this concept of like knowing that I'm not perfect, and even though I'm delightful, charming.
Yeah. You're great, man.
Yeah.
You're great. I like thinking the what if machine, if we lost the Revolutionary War, how he would have been one of the biggest enemies in history.
I mean, treason.
100%. Traitor, treason. Yeah. The way we view Benedict Arnold as a whole, like George Washington would have been right up there.
100%, yeah.
But instead he's first president.
Well, that's revisionist history.
Not the first president of the United States, first president of the United States under the Constitution.
Yes.
Just so we're clear.
But the first president of the United States.
Under the Constitution. Not the Articles of Confederation.
Which is, we don't.
Because we were a country for like almost a decade before that. But anyway.
George Washington, baby.
George Washington.
The fact that he was the first president to limit term limits.
Yep.
Or to establish term limits.
Yep.
Didn't have to.
Nope.
And when King George.
Yes.
King George, of course. When King George heard about the fact that he willingly stepped down, could not comprehend it. Literally said, why would someone do that?
Well, look at you now, Britain. Not doing so hot.
Why would anyone willingly give away their power? He literally just could not comprehend that. And I admire him for that. There's,
if only that would trickle down to like other parts of government.
Dude, yeah. Speaking of politics, there's our politics portion. Yeah. Maybe some offices should have term limits.
Oh.
Maybe that, you shouldn't.
Maybe career politician should not be a career.
Maybe you shouldn't walk in with a net worth of like $100,000
and walk out with
like $42 million of net worth over decades.
Yeah, we could.
Who knows?
We could
who am I though? To
just
question.
Just
a public servant.
Just the public.
That's all I am.
Just the public.
I'm a small town bird lawyer, folks.
I'm just a small town girl.
No,
living in a lonely world. That was a great Charlie Day reference, though. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bird law.
Small town bird lawyer.
Yep.
But good times, man. Anything else from the message? A words of grace will refresh your space.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Tic Tacs.
It was just great, man. And I
Orange
love
only.
Let's brag on our pastors and our bosses real quick.
Oh, good to it.
That they're enough of a power couple that Pastor Tim can fly to Texas to go speak at revival nights at another church.
Yep.
And she can seamlessly take the mantle.
Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs, baby. And Sunday doesn't skip a beat.
Not and
oh
man,
it would be easy for him to be like, hey, let me strangle.
This is life changing.
Well, just let me strangle the church and grip it so tight that record me and play that at the campuses.
Boa constrictor.
Right. But instead it's, well, I got gifted speakers under me.
Absolutely.
I have an amazing wife with a gift of communication. So the show goes on.
The show goes on.
Love that.
Already a show goes on. All right. Already. Right?
Yeah.
It's a Lupe Fiasco.
It is Lupe. And what is he sampling?
Modest Mouse?
Yeah. Float on. Modest Mouse. Correct. Yep. Well done. That's good.
Not just a hat rack, my friends.
That's right.
But yeah, anything else for the message, ma'am?
No, I'm excited for the next one.
I am too.
Like I said,
it's
never a bad idea to learn how to be a better husband. It's a great series.
Yeah. Or
even
wife.
If I feel like I'm hitting
or
wife. I'm speaking on personal.
Yes.
But even if I feel like I'm hitting a bullseye, like I'm not gonna hit it forever.
That's
I'm
true.
not gonna be there forever. It's a very short season where you're crushing it. And these anecdotes, these lessons,
life is short,
are going to help me at some point.
You are gonna die one day.
Well, all of us. We all have a terminal date.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have a terminal date.
Maybe.
Some sooner than others. We're all on a slow march.
Also,
I'm sorry.
Hey, segue. Hey, congratulations, sir. We survived what's now coined as the eclipse apocalypse. Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Coined by you.
Yeah. Like that needs to go on a t-shirt,
man. Apocalypse.
The apocalypse. Doesn't that flow so well?
Apocalypse is good. Apocalypse.
So, yeah. We survived the apocalypse.
We did, but what a weird week as a whole.
Yeah.
Apocalypse, crazy storm out of nowhere.
Yep.
There was an earthquake in Navarre.
There's an earthquake in Navarre?
During the thunderstorm, there was something that registered on the Geiger counter, and people thought it was just like thunder, but there was actually like an underground...
Teddy Geiger counter?
The old Teddy Geiger counter.
The old Teddy Geiger counter.
It was like an underground volcanic eruption caused like a low grade.
There is an underground volcano in Navarre.
I don't know if you know this,
What?
but there's actually magma under the whole crust of the earth everywhere.
Well, we don't know that for certain.
We do.
We don't, though.
We do.
Okay.
We do.
Tell me about carbon dating and why that's so...
Oh, it's inaccurate.
Why that's so inaccurate.
So, hey, can we go down that rabbit
Science?
hole?
Which one?
About the different ways that we date stuff and how it doesn't make sense?
Yeah.
Just a quick one.
Backward engineer things.
So, carbon dating, and then people are like, well, they use argon dating to go even older. It's like, well, what do you use for that? Oh, it only works on rocks. Oh, so you can't use that on life forms? Well, no, we just do the rocks that were by the life forms.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
Correct.
I just want to be very clear.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's
anyway.
And the whole concept, and you look up carbon dating, the idea that you start with the end in mind.
Yeah, and then reverse engineer
the formula.
Yep.
There is no other area of science where that is acceptable. So why now? Why? I've got a theory, that if we can show that the world is billions of years old, and who's to say that it's not? That's what also is the other thing too.
Wouldn't rock my faith.
It would not rock my faith if you found out that the world was, because the concept of time,
right?
And that's where you have to understand too, to a God that is over creation. Correct. What is a day? We don't know.
Here's the thing.
So I've heard different theories like that.
Here's the thing. Multi-front war. I'm going to talk about a multi-front war about this topic real quick. I'm just going to spit it out. Okay. And these are theories. These are working theories. These are Steve's opinions.
Style.
Steve's opinions. I just hit myself with the microphone. Steve's opinions.
Yeah, there's no Bible reference here.
We didn't even know about the heliocentric universe until Copernicus.
Which is fascinating because guess who came along after Copernicus?
Jesus.
No, Galileo.
I'm just kidding.
Galileo. And what did Galileo say?
Yeah.
Galileo said, guess what, guys? We're actually not the center of the universe.
Right.
The sun is.
Right.
Because before that, it was we are the center of the universe.
Sure.
And then Galileo comes along and says, well, actually, no, we're turns out we're not.
So I say that to say we didn't understand what a year was.
Yeah.
And a lot of older civilizations, earlier civilizations, the changing of the seasons was a year. So what we considered 1 year was actually 2 years to them.
Yeah.
There was a hot and a cold, a hot and a cold. A hot and a cold was a year.
Yep.
So when we read history, you read the Bible, and they're like, people lived to be 300 something, 400 and something. It might have been more like 200 something, 180, which still wildly old. Yeah. But it does half that figure when you think of what a year was to them based on what we know a year is now.
100%, yeah.
Prior to that, different than that, oxygen content, what it does to tissue, what kills us.
Oxidization.
The same thing that makes us live.
This is so fascinating.
Right? The same thing that allows us to live,
the
oxygen,
same thing that you
is
need
what
to
kills
live
us.
Is also the thing that is your slow death.
And if you're like, what? I've never heard this. Yes, you have. You just didn't realize it because that's why the food industry pushes antioxidants so hard because it stops oxidization.
We're woken everybody right
tissue.
now.
Oh, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So there's been labs
You just got blue pilled, green pilled,
red pilled.
What kind of pill are we?
Blue and yellow, purple pills.
What's that?
The blue pill.
But what are we? There's a term for it.
I don't know. But anyway,
okay.
There's science. There's science studies that have taken live tissue and they have put it in chambers and they've reduced the oxygen content and they have almost ceased the aging process. Completely ceased it. Now you can't sustain life
if you could
because you
go
need
into,
oxygen.
Correct. Yeah.
But what could grossly change the oxygen content of an entire planet?
Oh, I don't know. A worldwide flood.
A worldwide flood.
Hello.
Now we look
Science
at
bros.
giant beasts that lived that we have fossils of. Dinosaurs.
Yep. Aquatic animals.
Sloths. Were giant sloths. Elephants were bigger. Mammoths were bigger than elephants.
Yeah.
We look at the size of mammals pre and post that timeline. Why would larger things be able to sustain life because of a difference in oxygen content? Why couldn't they sustain life now?
1 billion more oxygen?
Correct.
Yes.
So it's just there's a lot of working
and
theories.
And then you talk about a designer that's like if you were going to create a creation, if you were going to create a being and you would need to slowly kill it at some point.
Correct.
Man, it's just so fast. Yeah, it's so deep.
But you look at why is the largest thing on planet Earth right now an elephant? Why don't we have giant sloths?
The largest
why don't we have
recorded animal? Because we also don't know what's under the seas.
Land. No, because there's whales that are bigger. I meant land because water, oxygen content, totally different.
Yeah.
Largest land mammal is now an elephant.
Yes.
Why don't we have brontosauruses, T-Rexes, woolly mammoths, giant tree sloths? Why is an elephant, which is small in comparison to all of that, the largest animal? A lot of that is oxygen content based.
Yep, 100%.
Stay woke, folks.
And then you get to Then you get to the oceans, and we know so little about the depths of the oceans. So what is down there, we really don't know.
Don't quote me. I want to say we've only explored 5%.
So that figure seems hyperbole, but it's a lot we don't know about because we cannot survive at the depths in which we would need to explore. So that's what's fascinating to me. We know, very little. We know way more about space than we do.
We've only explored 5% of the world's ocean. That's from NOAA.gov.
Interesting.
Yeah, 95% of the ocean is still unknown. I thought that was it.
Yeah, that's
NOAA.gov.
Well, buddy, great job, man.
Thanks, man.
NOAA.gov. Mm-hmm. So pretty fascinating stuff.
Not Noah like Noah, although... Did we crack the code? Call Nicolas Cage.
Call him. Call him. That's it.
We
are stealing the Declaration of Independence.
NOAA.gov. We did it.
We're going to steal the Declaration
How
of
have
Independence.
I never thought about that?
What's that?
That NOAA is the national...
Do you know what NOAA stands for?
National Organization of... I don't know what the AA is.
Aquatic.
I mean, I can look. You don't need to... I don't know it.
You don't know it?
No.
That
National Association of Aquatic...
I can't believe that you don't know what that stands for.
I don't.
That is so hilarious to me.
Aquatic you're wrong. It's not even aquatic.
I just came out strong with confidence.
You're so wrong. It's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Administration doesn't... It's NOAA?
Mm-hmm. That I knew.
Oh, I thought it was NOAH.
No, but it
like
sounds
NOAA.
the same. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which makes sense because they do weather too.
You ever flown Oceanic Airlines?
I have not.
Wouldn't recommend it.
I've never flown.
They had an accident back in the early 2000s. Did you hear about that?
I was about to lie. I just want to take that back. Yes, but I was going to say I've never flown commercial transoceanic, but I have one time.
No, Oceanic Airlines, the airline company.
Yeah.
Okay, so you flown them?
No.
Oh.
I think I flew Delta. The only time I flew across an ocean.
So they had an accident. It had to have been like the mid-2000s?
Everything else is on boats.
Where the plane split in half mid-air?
They're supposed to do that. That's how you get to the yoke.
Yeah, well, the problem was they went to this... They crashed on the island, and there was a ton of survivors.
Ooh, did the coconut crabs get them, like Amelia Earhart?
No. This is serious. I don't know why you're making
that
a joke
is serious, too.
Coconut
she was
crabs?
Eaten by giant crabs.
We don't know that.
That's
Anyways,
the working
back to
theory.
Oceanic, back to Oceanic Airlines. So they ended up crashing onto this island, and 2 sections of the plane split.
Okay.
And 2 groups of survivors that survived on this island for years.
Yeah.
And never found it, and then eventually found each other, and they realized like, oh, we're from the same crash.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
And
we both made it.
Yeah. No volleyballs, but they did. It was the island was weird though that they crashed on.
Yeah.
They kept losing it, like losing track of the island, like it would disappear.
Weird.
And go to different areas around the globe. Like it would pop up.
Was
and
it
then
a turtle's
disappear.
back?
I don't know.
Giant turtles.
It's
back.
one of the greatest mysteries. Look
That
it
is
up.
wild.
Oceanic Airlines flight.
Something. I'm sure.
Yeah.
If I typed Oceanic Airlines crash, that would.
Look it up.
I will. I want to do some deep dive. I don't want to just like.
Yeah, I want you
level.
to surface level. Just look it up real fast.
What am I looking up? Just
Oceanic
about
Airlines
it?
crash. Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's enough. It's really yeah. It's good. It's worth it.
Oceanic Airlines crash. 10/12 crashed onto the islands of Benoi during a localized zombie apocalypse. That doesn't sound right. Is this like a video game or something? Is that what you're? Is this? Oh, it's Lost. Got it. It's the movie Lost, or the TV show Lost. It's a terrible punchline. A terrible punchline. You're so proud of yourself.
What's that?
You're so proud of yourself. Oceanic Flight 815.
8:15.
There
yeah.
it is.
Oh man, good times.
So anyway, things that actually
The
happened.
Dharma Initiative.
Things that actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the working theory. She was eaten by coconut crabs.
That's
Based on the
interesting.
triangulation of where the aircraft should have been and where it crashed, and the islands and what's there.
She was eaten on the islands?
Mhm. Have you ever seen coconut crabs?
No. Show me a picture of coconut crabs.
They're terrifying.
Okay.
They're terrifying. And they travel in swarms and they eat animals. So
And people.
we are animals.
That is awful. If
So
that's
this is
true.
a coconut crab getting into a full-size trash can.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude. And they travel in like swarms.
It's like a giant sea spider.
They are terrifying.
But they eat meat?
Yes.
I hate everything about what I just saw.
Yeah.
Else. Nope. Mm-mm.
But my favorite crash story, and if you don't know about this one, look it up.
Okay.
They made a movie about it called Alive. It is about the Uruguayan rugby team that crashed in the Andes Mountains and survived for 72 days.
No way.
That's a wild story. Look that one up.
That's so surprising to me because you would not think that rugby players would be tough like that too.
72 days in the Andes Mountains
You just, I mean, rugby players have the reputation
of being untough.
of being,
It's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
non-tough is what
Non-tough.
they would call. Yeah.
Untuffed.
Yep.
But this is my favorite.
Mhm.
So their leader, the captain of the team, Nando,
Okay.
they cracks his skull. Face blows up like a balloon.
Oh gosh.
Sleeps with his body halfway in the fuselage, halfway in the snow, and they say that's the only reason he survived, was because he kept his head by the snow, and it like kept the swelling down enough for his body to heal so that he didn't. And it wasn't a logical choice. He, as the captain, just said, "Hey, you guys sleep in the fuselage. I'll sleep closest to like the death,"
Yeah.
and it saved his life. And he ended up tying leather from seat cushions around his feet, marching through the snow for like 16 miles after 70 days of not eating and not
Oh my gosh.
and found civilization, and then they all got rescued. It's a wild story, man. Look
that's
up
wild.
the Uruguayan rugby team that crashed in the Andes Mountains. And the worst part is the plane pilot got super disoriented in the storms and the turbulence. So where they thought they crashed was nowhere near where they actually crashed. so no one was looking in the right spot.
Oh man,
they thought they were nowhere near where they were. They like, yeah, it's crazy that anyone survived, and 72 of them. Nope, 72 days, not 72
days.
72 days, but a bunch of them survived.
That's incredible.
Yep,
I mean,
pretty wild.
Yeah. Just kidding, guys. We love our rugby teams.
Yeah, we do.
And
yeah, we do. Yeah. My buddy Doc got his start.
I just don't want them to beat me up when they eventually see me.
Got a start this week.
That's awesome.
So Doc is my best friend. He's active duty Navy. He's usually a sub for NOLA Gold pro rugby team, but he started this week. Started at number 3 in San Diego against the Legion.
That's awesome, man.
Yep. They didn't clinch it. They lost.
Okay.
But man,
let's
awesome.
Let's go, Doc.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
Great.
No, hang on.
Great.
Remember?
The thumbs.
So yeah, that's Jamal Hill's tattoos. If you ever see him, yeah, it's got not the best, but it's okay.
It's all right.
I'm not gonna criticize his tattoos.
Yeah,
but some people have.
Yeah.
Anything else, man? Before we sign off, how long do you think we've been going? What's your guess?
Oh man, we started at 10:30. We went long on the 3-minute. We took a little break. We probably didn't start until a little bit later. I'm gonna say we're at an hour and 4 minutes.
So 64?
64.
I'm going to vote that we are at... Yeah, I'm going to vote we're at like 68.
Okay.
Right now, with the little bit of extra man at the beginning, we're at 66.
I win.
Because I went over?
Yeah. Price is Right rules, baby.
Okay.
Get off my stage.
You heard him, folks.
Get off my stage.
Get off my
Das Vidania.
All right.
Great movie.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what I'm talking about because I made that. What's up?
Tax day, by the way.
Oh, today's tax day. Do your taxes. Well, if you see this, you've already messed
you've
up.
already missed your taxes.
Not a Disney movie. Usually clumped in with Disney movies, but a stellar movie, Anastasia.
No.
Yes.
That movie and Balto are just terrible.
Balto is one of the greatest stories of all time.
It's not.
It's a true story about how a dog saved a bunch of kids with polio.
Okay, your volume just increased.
I'm very passionate about Balto.
Hey, listen. Take a breath. Catch a bubble. Your
I'm in a safe place.
unreasonable
You
love
really don't like
for
Balto?
dogs. Listen. Your unstable
A little bit.
and unreasonable love for dogs is blinding you to a good narrative.
That might be true.
And just because this
pulling up a
dog is the
picture
hero
while
of
you're
the
talking.
movie,
Yeah.
do you love Air Bud? Is that one of your favorite movies too?
Nah, Air Bud's a okay movie.
Yeah. The sequel's good or
I don't know if I've seen many of the Air
Homeward
Bud
Bound?
movies. Homeward Bound is a Peter. Peter. I love you, my boy.
Peter.
I missed you. Peter. It's a great movie.
Oh, Peter.
It's a great movie.
If you remember the movie Homeward Bound at the end, go back and watch that scene when
Shadow comes
home and Peter's there and the family. It's just
right.
It's different when you're 35 than it did when you were 10.
Peter. Great movie though. Great stellar movie.
Yes.
Stellar movie. I'm finding. I'm still talking while I'm finding
Anastasia
this picture.
and Balto are not
So
good.
you don't like Anastasia, man?
They're both equally terrible. Yeah.
With Rasputin? Mm-hmm. Dude, it is such a good movie.
I understand you
and
believe
it's
that.
a little darker than Disney would have allowed, which I enjoy.
But it was a weird animation time.
It was. I'll
It
give you
also
that.
led to Treasure Planet,
Which is crazy good animation.
Which is good.
Crazy
but
good
that was
animation.
the same vein of was DreamWorks make it? Was it DreamWorks?
I would be lying.
It wasn't
if
Disney, but it was either Paramount or DreamWorks or someone produced Balto and Anastasia.
I don't know if you could see this picture. I
Was
was
it?
like, you can't zoom in,
Same studio.
but if you can focus,
if you just talk and then put that in front of your camera, it'll actually it'll cut to you.
this
Mm-hmm.
is a statue of Balto in Central Park in New York City because he's such a hero.
So this is you.
That's me
Did
hugging the
did
Balto
you bring
statue.
the bunny?
Do you want me to tell you about that bunny?
I'm not that interested.
I'm gonna tell you about the bunny.
Is this a life size to scale
of Balto?
of Balto?
I don't know.
It looks bigger than I would
It's
anticipate.
probably bigger,
So it's not an accurate statue.
but that's like saying any statue bigger than the actual human is not accurate. There's a lot of
That's a
statues
true
that are bigger
sentence.
than the humans.
Correct, and they're not to scale.
Yeah.
Do you not understand scale?
Correct.
Yeah.
But Balto's a hero. Is there a statue of you in Central Park, Tyler? I didn't think so. He saved kids with polio. He saved kids with polio.
Did he bring them blankets?
Brought them vaccinations.
Oh.
Do you not know the story of Balto?
I mean, I've seen the movie when I was like a kid.
So anyway,
But-
that's that
Okay.
stuffed bunny.
Yeah.
Its name is Sunflower.
Okay.
And Mel got it for me before I left on my first deployment. And anywhere I go, I take it with me, and I take pictures to send back to her and the kids. So it's like they're with me. And its name is Sunflower.
I love that for you.
It's my little bunny.
It's pretty cool.
Because Mel's the bunny.
How fun.
Yeah, Mama Bunny. Got that.
And we're back.
Yeah.
We've cut a lot out of this episode.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay.
Here's Sunflower on patrol. That's cool. Yeah. Sunflower got in with a rough crowd in one of these pictures. Ooh, you'll like this. We were in Norway. I'm sorry, no, Glasgow, Scotland,
Okay.
which is like America, but in the 90s right now. They're like 20 years behind on pop culture.
Yeah.
More or less.
That's the best.
And we went to a local coffee shop to get coffee and like breakfast. And look what they had up just on the TV for people to play. This was 2019.
That's amazing.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater
The first one.
on the original PlayStation.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of where they're. Yeah, this is when he fell in with a bad crowd. We found Sunflower posted up in
Oh, wow.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
no perfect bunnies allowed. Am I right?
No perfect bunnies allowed.
I feel like I'm laying down now. This is nice.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Anything else before we wrap up?
I think we're good.
You play a game?
What's it like to be on the other side of me? Because I don't want to play that game. I refuse.
Okay.
Refuse.
What other game? Then you gotta pick the game.
All right. I'm gonna think of a category.
Okay.
You just guess things,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 3 things that I say yes to, and then you have to guess the category.
Okay.
Based on the 3 things that I say yes, that belongs in my category, you have to surmise what the category is.
And so I just keep going until they get 3 yeses?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
All right. So let me think of a category,
Okay.
and it'll be unknown to you.
So
But I'm
honor
gonna write
system.
it down.
And I'm gonna sit up.
Okay. Actually, John.
Yeah.
Honor
Can
system.
you show that
baby.
to the camera? This is the category. Go point that to any of the cameras. We'll make sure that it.
Here, point it in front of my camera, and I'll just talk. So it'll come to this.
Hopefully, it can read that.
So, yep. Hang on. Can you see that, guys?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Now, hey, drop a comment below and let me know what it was.
This is not live,
Go
Tyler.
ahead and spoil this for your
It's not-
boy,
it's not live. All right. You get 3 yeses before you have to guess the category.
Tony Hawk,
No.
pro skater,
No.
90s,
No.
Aretha Franklin,
No.
Caitlin Clark.
It's not a person. This is a category.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing AC 130s,
No.
Jim Carrey,
No.
Italian food,
Sometimes. That's not a yes, but sometimes. Maybe that helps you.
but it's not a yes.
It's not a yes.
Okay.
Because it's not an always.
Pizza Hut.
Yes.
Okay. Is your category the mall?
You got to take 3 yeses, man.
Okay.
But no, category is not the mall.
Fine dining.
No.
CC's Pizza.
No.
Orange Tic Tacs.
No.
Corvettes.
Sometimes. My dad's, yes.
Oh. Is it fire trucks?
Yes.
The color red.
Things that are red. Let's go. Crushed it.
All right.
That's
All
good.
right, my turn.
That's good. Oh, no. I wasn't prepared for this. But Pizza Hut, you know the symbol. It's red.
Yeah.
It's red.
Oh boy, do I. Okay. Got it locked in.
No accountability on your part. We're just gonna.
Yeah, I promise. Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot of. Excuse me. That was a lot of work for accountability.
It's true. Okay. Coca-Cola.
No.
Baseball game.
No.
Nachos.
No.
Shoes.
Sometimes.
Okay. Track pants.
Sometimes.
Okay. Billie Eilish.
Black t-shirt. No.
Hip hop.
No.
Pizza.
No.
Cotton.
Cotton? Sometimes. Also, just a reminder, this is sponsored by Tic Tacs. Refresh your breath with 100 layers of oranges.
Whipped cream.
No. Ooh. Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah, no. You'll get mad when you find out what it is.
Annie Ann's pretzels.
Yes.
Things that are sold at Disney.
No. Oh, is that your guess on the category? Yeah, no.
No. Okay. Food court.
Sure, sometimes. Why are you so bad at this game?
Because it's probably such an obscure. I gave you things that are red. Yours is probably so pointed and so obscure that we're never going to get there, which defeats the whole purpose of the game.
Okay, so you give up?
Sure.
The color blue. Things that are blue.
Things that are blue?
Yeah.
Food court?
Because sometimes the color blue's there.
That's the. You're a terrible clue giver.
How?
Terrible clue giver.
Sometimes that's track pants. Sometimes they're blue.
No, that was fine. But food court sometimes? That's just about hard no. A food court is not the color blue. That is absurd.
So when you said, what did you say, whipped cream?
Whipped cream? Yeah, sometimes. That's an awful. It's white.
But
Cool Whip is not whipped cream.
I know, but Cool Whip isn't a blue thing. You see that?
No.
Cool Whip isn't a blue little container.
We're ending this episode. We're done. We're done here.
Or are we? Sometimes.
The worst.
Well, folks, like, share, and subscribe.
Howdy, folks.
Leave us a review
Yins.
for sure. And then, share it with your friends. Leave comments.
Yeah.
Just engage with it. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy it, leave us a comment. Let us know you love it. Leave us a review. And as always, if you didn't love it, keep it to yourself.
All hands hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall
I got off there. But the two notes definitely helped with that. Anyways,
good.
Love you guys.
Okay.
Love everybody equally. And just remember, spay and neuter your pets.
Bob Barker. It's good. It's a good send-off.
And because Price is Right rules.
Price is right. Spay and neuter your pets, everybody. Bob Barker. Love you. Bye. It's a great send-off line.